chapel. So the state funeral has finished, and now we are waiting for everything to continue and for the royal family to arrive. Once they said like all the military and all the soldiers and all that, once they get down to the top of the road and they turn in, then only then the royal family is going to join them. So I had this question in my mind. So basically, just want to touch in real quick because I gotta go back and watch it. I saw some up close pictures from the Daily Mail, and the Daily Mail is claiming that the Duchess of Sussex, that Meghan was crying. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that real quick before I cover the rest today and whenever the rest is. So I wanted to share my reaction. I may post a poll on the community tab. If you're not subscribed already and you're new, go ahead and subscribe because I may run a poll later. Okay, asking you all if you think that Harry and Meghan want to come back, or if Harry's gonna go back, or what do you all think is gonna happen? Because I've been seeing a lot of buzz of people on social media in England and around the world are kind of like, I feel, wishing, maybe kind of daydreaming that maybe Harry and Meghan will change their ways and regret everything and make good with the king and the queen consort and the prince and princess of Wales, and we'll go back to duty. I think in a perfect world, it'd be great. So when I saw the close-up of Meghan, it looks like wiping a tear. She has on gloves. It looked like she was pretty dressed down, if I could say so myself, you all. Meghan was wearing hardly any jewelry. I didn't see any brooches. I didn't see any dramatic makeup. I think that Meghan looked pretty appropriate. I don't think that she was trying to stand out. And I'm sure that they already spoke to Harry and Meghan about how they have to conduct themselves and how they have to look to the whole world. So, the Prince and Princess of Wales were Harry wearing the same uniform as William. And I thought that there was rumors, or there was a correction or a request by the king, his father, Charles, to allow him to wear the uniform. So what happened? What happened between Thursday or Friday and now today? What has happened over the weekend? I thought that King Charles, unless the media, unless somebody was lying or got the information wrong, from what I saw and from what I read, I thought that he was gonna be dressed up. But it seems like for now, the only time that Harry has looked the most dressed up and just really just, owning it was at the vigil when they had different members of the royal family stand in front of the queen's casket, well, coffin really, because it looks like quite small for a casket. It looks quite small, right? And they had her on that beautiful purple like sort of altar looking placeholder or something. It looked quite unique. But whenever they hold the queen in the air, they have the queen on those little placement tables, I get kind of nervous. I mean, a lot of times in the state funeral, they showed the young guardsmen and the military and all types of people were holding the queen's coffin into Westminster Abbey and also in and out of the car. And that got me, I mean, my nerves were like wrecked because I'm like, oh my God, don't drop her, don't drop the queen, whatever you do, because it just looks so unsafe. Like the car was so far away from the Westminster Abbey entrance and the procession. I mean, those men really had their life on the line. Every single man who had to hold the queen's coffin, I'm sure they were buns of steel. I can't even imagine, having to continuously. And the craziest part is when they held the coffin, then they had to lift it. They had to raise it. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, there's nothing underneath, there's nothing underneath but these men with their hands. There's nothing. I mean, what if somebody was wanting to faint, because there's been people who fainted, So every single time, they're not there yet. I was just checking, but every single time they have to take the queen's coffin somewhere, I'm just like, oh my goodness. I mean, it just looks so unsafe. But I mean, obviously they've gone over rehearsals and they've checked everything. But still, to me, it's just like, why couldn't they bring the car closer to the entrance, to make the young men's job easier? Why is it so far away? I mean, it's just like anything could happen. But thank God, the queen has been in good hands the whole time. But in the back of my head, I'm just like, oh my God, please don't drop her. But anyway, you all, so that ties into the uniform with Harry. I don't know why I saw so many publications saying that King Charles requested a change, an exception for the funeral. But I'm guessing that that was only the exception for the visual. That's what it seems like to me. So my first initial reaction to seeing Meghan wipe a tear, the first thought that I had in my mind was, I hope it's genuine. She was an actress, she was an actress. And it makes me feel so sad to say that, it's just like, is she acting? Is it real? But I'm hoping it's real. Most likely it's real. But I'm sure people who have watched this Mary, this maybe Queen Mary, maybe Queen Mary's watching. But I think that everybody, including myself, who's watched, Harry and Meghan be welcomed in, get married, and then depart, step down and depart, move to America. I think everybody who's just seen all this, drama saga, soap opera go down, we're questioning. What's so sad is that we're always questioning, is it genuine? Is it genuine? Apparently in the picture, the Princess of Wales was not crying. The Queen Consort Camilla was not crying. So Meghan was the only one, wiping a tear. So, that is interesting. That is very interesting. I mean, not that the Queen Consort and not that the Princess of Wales has not, because they definitely have cried, but it's just in that particular moment, somebody captured Meghan wiping a tear. And I I just can't help but think, are they sad with how they left everything? Is there something in the back of Meghan's mind where her real name is Rachel? I don't know why they don't just call her Rachel. Like, yeah, I don't know why they just don't call her Rachel. That's her real name. You know what I'm saying? As a duchess as it stands, but I guess for the record, Meghan. I wonder if in the back of Meghan and Harry's mind, especially Meghan, they're sad. I wonder if they're sad with how they left everything off with the queen. Maybe that's why she was crying. I don't want to speak for her, but I just think that the way everything went down so nasty, I can't help but think, are you having regrets? Do you want to come back to England? You know what I'm saying? What do you want to do? What's the plan moving forward? And I was having this conversation with family yesterday, and what we were saying was like, what? If they're decent people, if they're decent, they'll make it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, they will make it right. They'll have to figure out something. They'll have to find out a way to have some kind of adjustment, make things more comfy. I don't know, get new furniture, get new drapes. I don't know, anything, I mean, the royal family, the British royal family have so much money. They have so much money. They have so much staff, so many people at their beck and call. I find it hard to believe that they cannot make some kind of residence cozy and comfortable and homely for Meghan, Harry, and their kids. If they decide to go back, which it's just a hypothetical, but it's going around. I've been seeing people really speculate, are they feeling guilty? Do they want to go back? What is Harry thinking? There's so many questions I have, and I'm just hoping that they will do the right thing. If Meghan's tears are, whether sad tears or mourning tears or whatever, and it's genuine, I would hope that in the back of her mind, she's thinking about, well, how can I help the Commonwealth? I have this title, I have this prestigious title for a reason. She's married to a prince for a reason. And honestly, seeing Harry walk next to William, and look at how much they walked. I mean, for God's sake, I mean, listen, they're royals, okay? And the amount of times I've seen, William and King Charles and all of them walk, I mean, they've walked far. They must be tired. Even yesterday, I was saying to myself, are they even gonna sleep tonight? All the steps and turns and nods and the body language and the structure of everything, and having to turn at the right point and bow your head at the right, signal. I mean, it's a lot to remember. It's a lot, but I think that the royals have definitely put in work. I mean, even King Charles is not no young boy. King Charles is not like 24 or nothing, and let alone 40. And he and his very heavy uniform had to still walk and all. So I was just like, whoa, I don't know. I you know, any royal could have been, stuck up and just requested a car, but they wanted to walk. That was a part of the orchestration and the planning, is for all of them to walk behind the queen's coffin. And, I couldn't help, but I had so many different thoughts. Like, I wonder if their feet's tired. I wonder if they're, the heat, how hot is it? I had so many questions, but, yeah, once again, Harry was not in any particular uniform like Prince William. He did have some things on his suit jacket. I mean, I did see some stuff which was nice, but I don't know. I just thought that maybe they would give him something nicer. I thought that maybe Harry would request something nicer to wear. That's really what I thought, to be honest with you. But I mean, once again, since everything has taken place, maybe not, perhaps not, I don't know where it stands with Harry and Meghan's kids getting titles. I don't know what's going on with that. I've seen a lot of conflicting reports. So, it's just kind of like a hypothetical. I think at this point, seeing how emotional, hopefully how genuinely emotional, especially Meghan has been and all this, I just hope that they do the right thing. Is the right thing going back to America and writing a tell-all book and, wanting to go to all these, A-list Hollywood actor and actress parties and try to blend in with the entertainment industry? I mean, I don't think it's appropriate. I think that now that the queen has passed, Harry and Meghan need to recalibrate. That's my opinion. If their heart is really to be with family and to raise their kids around family, then I feel like they would have a change of heart. I'm not saying that Meghan should forget her dream, because let's be real, I think that there is a dream in Meghan. There's a dream inside that lady to be an A-list actress. That's what it feels like to me, because you see, you don't go back to live in Canada, because Meghan did have time in Canada as a working actress, right? And blogger and socialite. I mean, they didn't go to Canada, for God's sake. They went to Los Angeles, California, Montecito, LA, West Coast. They could have went anywhere in America. They could have lived anywhere in Canada, but they chose the capital of entertainment, where everybody goes from all corners of the world, no matter who you are, no matter what you look like. Everybody that wants to be a big time entertainer goes to LA. That's just a known fact. So I'm starting to think that maybe Meghan wants to act again. Maybe that's why Harry supported her and said, okay, let's go to, California, because maybe now you can get a better career, and I don't have any personal yay or nay against that. You see what I'm saying? Because if they're not working and they want to support themselves, well, it kind of makes common sense. That's how they would support themselves. But what I'm saying now is that since the queen has passed, is it appropriate? You know, is it time, right, guys? Is it time for Harry and Meghan to put the Hollywood sign in the back of their mind? Is it time to let go of the fantasy of being like the new Brad Pitt and Angelina, you know, or the new David Beckham and Victoria Beckham? You know, is it or the Kardashians even? I mean, is it time for them to just say, you know what, let's pack up, let's sell this mansion, let's go back to England and make things right? And you know what was so strange, you all, is even there was a part in the procession, I think near, I don't want to say the wrong name, but it was past Westminster. They went down a road. I think it was like Wellington, I believe, like Wellington Arch, something like that. And they had to stop. And there was all these, you know, Navy and military. And when they showed Meghan and Sophie and the Princess of Wales, when they showed all of them going towards their husbands and watching the Queen's coffin, you know, get taken into the car, a thought crossed my mind, you all. And you know what crossed my mind? Where would they bury Meghan and Harry? Right? God forbid something happened to Meghan and Harry. Would they have to fly their body to England? You know, here's my thing. If I knew Meghan in an intimate way, like in person, this is what I would say to her. If Harry's giving her trouble, if there's drama happening behind closed doors, this is what I would say to Meghan. How do you want to be remembered? How do you both want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as the troubled royal couple, or do you want to be remembered how William and Catherine will be remembered and held and adored and loved on, loved upon? You know, you don't want to leave this earth being a part of the royal family with nothing but scandal. I mean, surely. And I don't want to speak for Harry, I don't want to speak for Meghan, but that crossed my mind when I saw all of them lined up on that huge piece of lot of grass, and they had like the road cleared out, and they had the beautiful arches. It just crossed my mind, you all. I'm sure for those of you watching and replay watchers that couldn't catch you live making this video, I'm sure it's crossed a lot of you guys' mind as well. Like, what's going to happen? You know, what's going to happen towards the end of Harry and Meghan's life? Whether they're still married or not, we don't know. You know, a lot of people think they're not going to make it, but regardless if they make it or not, doesn't really matter. You know, not really our business. You know, I couldn't help but think, you know, what if one of them passed away? You know, would they be buried in America? Or would they be buried beautifully like this in England? You know, and even for Harry is British born and bred. You know, what do they call it? Blue blood. I mean, Harry is a prince. He doesn't act like it. He doesn't want to act like that because he married an American lady. But nevertheless, you know, it crossed my mind, like, when they die, what's gonna happen with their funeral? Who's going to turn up at their funeral? And that was a sad thought, you know, because I'm like, why would you want to be so far from your family? You know, even Doria. I remember when it was very early into Harry and Meghan's marriage. I remember when people were talking about how Doria was going to move in. And then obviously that fantasy was shot down, and Meghan's mom never moved in. Meghan's mom never moved in. So, you know, contrary to how William and Catherine, you know, especially Catherine's parents are still in England. You know, they're not up the block, but they're not in a different country. So it just makes me think, you all, you know, what legacy do Harry and Meghan want to leave behind? And if I was in any of their position, or if there was anything where I would speak to them, you know, and be like, hey, you know, as a citizen, as a consumer, as a viewer of the royal family, what do you guys want it to be? You know, do you want to leave this earth, you know, shamed, or do you want to have this beautiful adoration and love from the Commonwealth like the Queen has had? You know, look at how many people have come out from all over the world to celebrate the Queen, you know? And it makes me think, like, how would their funeral be if they don't get this right? You know, are they going to just stay in America and be buried in America? Is Harry going to be a British prince buried in America? I mean, it just crossed my mind, you all. So that's just kind of like where my head was at, was like, wow, how could they mess up that badly? Just go back. If they want to, if they think it's the right thing to do, I'm not asking them to go back, because my personal feelings are out of my commentary right now. I'm just speaking in a way where I'm observing from the outside in. And as a viewer of watching the funeral, I'm saying, looking at Harry and Meghan and looking at all this buzz, I'm saying to myself, okay, why not just go back? Why not just go back? But the question is, would they be allowed? What would they do? What would be their duties? What would be their job? So there's so many questions, but I just find it so hard to believe that after all this, Harry's just going to go back to America and Meghan's just going to go back to America. I find that so hard to believe. Like, how can you leave your brother and his wife to do all the work? Look at how much work that Catherine and William have to already do. They need help. They need support. Two brothers need each other. William and Harry should be able to lean on each other. And William can't get that same kind of support with Harry all the way in America. A telephone call and a FaceTime can only do so much, or even a Zoom call or a Cisco call, whatever kind of call they got electronically these days. William can only feel so much love and support over the phone, Harry. But if you're there in person and walking distance with your kids and his kids, you guys can really make a fabulous team, without the attitude and the bickering and the drama. If you guys could just be civil, it could really be a dynamic duo. Like originally it was the Fab Four and everything was peachy keen. And then I don't know what happened, but I remember one video I did, I think it was like, that's when everything was like super crazy with them. I think the video was like 30,000 views, like 8,000 views. I had an intuitive hit about them fighting, and crazy enough, I was right. And I remember that video. I remember the day and everything, the air blowing through the wind. I remember all of it. And that was just like the beginning of the end. I can recall it so clear when I heard the news that they were stepping down, and all of us did. All of us did. So I'm just saying, like, Meghan, you're shedding tears, but what are you shedding tears about? The Queen's legacy, or are you feeling regret? Are you sad? Do you miss the Queen? I'd be interested to know, like, why were you crying? And if you really miss her and you really respect the Queen, why not celebrate her life by going back, and doing your duty, doing your job? Why not try that, instead of going to America and trying to jump attention and all these weird jobs? I mean, just go back. I'm not saying I want them back. I'm just saying from common sense, like, why not? If you really are that sad and you really feel like that bad and you miss the Queen and all this, like, if you're so emotional, why not show how dedicated you are and try to see with King Charles what you guys could do? You want to work with children, you want to work with theater, with art. What do you guys, I mean, what I'm saying is, basically saying in a nutshell, you all, is that the royal family can find something for Harry and Meghan to do. They're not short of work. You know what I'm saying? They're not short of duty. They're not short of events or charities to run. Like, I'm pretty sure if Harry and Meghan could just keep their mouths shut and have a proper sit down with King Charles, and maybe even William and Catherine. I don't know if that'd be a civil conversation, but I'm just saying what's on my heart, you all. The royal family is not short of work. There's always something to do. I mean, for God's sake, if there wasn't anything else to do, which is impossible, Harry and Meghan could still be useful, cleaning up, dusting off the furniture and all the beautiful gold and jewelry. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if that was like, if there was something for them to do, there's always something they could do, whether cleaning, helping, shaking hands, there's always something that they could do. So what I'm saying is, Harry and Meghan would not be out of work. They would not be out of work. They could find a niche, right? They could find a passion. Like, for example, the Princess of Wales, Catherine, okay, they're inside now. Catherine's passion is mental health and children. From the very beginning, Catherine was always magnetized and directed towards working with children, disabled children, underprivileged children. So everybody has their thing. Everybody has their thing. So what I'm saying is, if Meghan and Harry can just put their pride aside, and look at the bigger picture here, how do you want to be remembered? Even tragically, what happened to Diana. Diana's body of work speaks for itself. But Diana got out of her comfort zone. She showed the strength of the royal family. She showed a different side of the royal family. And I think in many respects, what I've always hoped was that Meghan and Harry could do the same thing. Even more so, really, Meghan than Harry, to be honest with you. That they could show a different side of the royal family. And it's such a missed opportunity, I think, for Harry and Meghan to not, and with Diana's legacy, to not show a different side, you know? So King Charles can find something for Harry and Meghan to do. I'm certain of it. I'm certain. But will they tighten up and forget the past and forgive and move forward? I don't know. We're just going to have to see. Well, thank you all. I'm going to go back now downstairs with family and watch the second part of today, which is St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, a more intimate service again than after. Around Windsor, they're going to bury the Queen with her sister and husband and parents, and it's just, I'm sure very, very moving. The crowds are enormous. Is that actually people? Oh my God. They look like little ants from here. God, goodness gracious. So I'm going to go back downstairs, you all. I got up so early to watch this. I am tired. My kitten is on the floor ready to go to sleep, but this whole day is nowhere near finished. Everything that we're going to be seeing today is nowhere near finished. We have so much more time left to go. So much more left to see. But yes, I will close this and say, absolutely, if Meghan really felt emotional and sad and, whatever emotions were coming up for her, looking at the Queen's coffin, as the Daily Mail has stated, beautiful, why not? Why would she not, miss her? I mean, she did meet her. The Queen, like I always said, the Queen always allowed Harry and Meghan to be together. The Queen never objected. The Queen was always very supportive of their marriage. And that's why I just didn't understand why she turned her back on the Queen, why she turned her back on, whoever said those remarks about her child, which I don't believe. But, I didn't understand why, in-house issues or complications had to be for public consumption. And, I hope that in the future, Oprah will correct herself, because Oprah, for her own legacy, has to get the facts right. And she's embarrassing. I think what Oprah did with Meghan and Harry was so degrading and so embarrassing. And I lost a lot of respect. Not to put Michael Jackson in the Queen's and Meghan's video here, my reaction to it, but even with the whole Michael Jackson thing, which he was proven guilty, all counts, and even with Michael Jackson, Oprah was salivating, to find things about Michael even after he passed away, which I thought was wrong. I mean, he has a family, he has children, that was settled in the court of law. The law is a law. The law is a law. And they proved him not guilty. And I felt that from that moment with Oprah trying to fish for things and chase people down for interviews, that was wrong as well. So I don't know. There's been a couple interviews and investigations, I think, that Oprah Winfrey has done in her most recent days that, in years, that I don't agree with. I think she's totally out of line. And I hate to put her on blast like that, you all, but I just think it's just wrong. You know, when it comes to legal matters and the law and a judge and a jury, that is like case closed. You know, if you're guilty, you're guilty. If they can prove it and they have evidence, you're going away. They're locking you up. But with Michael Jackson, they could not prove that. And Oprah was always one of those journalists who were trying to dig and dig and dig. And even after he was buried and dead and gone, she was still trying to do that. And that's wrong. And so then after that, now she want to interview Meghan and Harry with their shit again. So it's more like she's just looking for trouble, you know. It doesn't really seem like she's trying to get the truth, you know. I mean, it's ratings. It's ratings, you know, sensationalism. I get all that. But like I said, what kind of legacy? I mean, watching the Queen, you know, and all people from all over the world come and watch the Queen's state funeral and celebrate her life and all this stuff and mourn her passing. I think it should make all of us think, you know, celebrity or not, you know, entrepreneur or not, royalist or not, you know, I think this should make all of us think about our own legacy, you know, our own behavior, you know, checking ourselves. And so, you know, now that the Queen is about to be buried soon and reign no more, you know, gone forever, I think that everybody who was involved in dehumanizing the Queen and disgracing her family should apologize. I think that Oprah should apologize. I think that Harry and Meghan should apologize. They should all apologize. They should all apologize. So, yeah, I think that Oprah needs to, you know, have a little talking to Harry and Meghan. Maybe Oprah can convince them to apologize. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a surprise you all this week of Oprah coming out and saying, I regret that interview. You know, I regret, you know, having Harry spill the beans on what he perceives as racism and all this stuff. You know, maybe Oprah will say, you know what, I think it was inappropriate. And quite frankly, I would have a lot of respect for her. I would have a lot more respect for Oprah if she came out and said, you know what, that was foul. That was wrong. You know, we should have not done that. But anyway, you all, sorry for looking tired. Not sorry, but you know, you can't always be done up on camera. You can't always have the highest energy. But I try to give you all, you know, kind of like the summary of what's going through my mind right now as I watch this. And what's going through my mind is just like, you know what, make things right with your family, man. You know, family is everything. You know, make things right with your family. And Harry and Meghan, just do the right thing. That's all I can really say. So I'm back to watching it now, you all. The Queen's coffin's still in the car, so they haven't even got there yet. It's a long walk. It's a long way to go. Probably gonna be all day with this coverage. I'm sure with all these different channels and all this stuff. But yeah, it's just crazy to think about that. You know, you would do that and then go to her funeral. You know, shortly after. You know, it's crazy that they would do that. So